Hey everyone, welcome back to Modern Retro Gal. My name's JL and today's video is going to be all about contouring. That's right, I am doing a contouring 101 for beginners tutorial for you all. I still see a lot of friends and just people in general have a lot of questions about how to contour, still having struggles with blending and choosing the right product. So we're gonna go into all of that, and then I do have a tutorial on how I personally do my contour when I'm strictly doing contour. The product that I use that I found that I really like, and this is really about technique, a specific technique that I started doing on myself. I don't want to say that I necessarily invented it, but it's just something that I found that I was like, oh, finally, like this is how I should have been applying it the whole time. So if this is something that you are struggling with, I hope you will stick around. If you are new to my channel, hello, it's so nice to meet you. If you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you as a subscriber. So please click the subscribe button down below and the little bell to be notified when I upload. I upload reviews and product recommendations that are cruelty-free and often vegan. I also like to do makeup tutorials. They usually lean a little more modern, sometimes a little more retro, but they're always hooded eye friendly and mature skin friendly. So if that sounds like something that's sounds good to you, I hope you will stay. So before we get into the actual tutorial, I want to talk a little bit about products, undertones for those products, and kind of some of the things that I see people struggling with when it comes to contour. So one of the biggest things that I kind of want to address that I feel like a lot of people kind of skate over is that most products are kind of out on the market right now, drugstores and places like Sephora and Ulta, that are really kind of labeled for contour are really just they're really honestly bronzers. Real contour product is going to have a very cool, almost gray undertone to the product. If it's more brown, if it has more of a red tone or an orange tone to it, that is really a bronzer, and that is really meant to warm up and bronze the skin. Some of the issues that I see people have who are trying to contour is that it ends up looking muddy, or they can't get the right color. It looks orange, it looks red. They're just like, they're just not happy with the way it looks on the skin. So that's one of the things to understand. So you really want to look for a product that is very neutral colored or a little bit gray. So one of the products that I found that I've absolutely fell in love with, and it's one of the reasons why it's taken me so long to actually put this video out, is because I've really been looking for just the right thing. So this is Charlotte Tilbury, the Filmstar Bronze and Glow. It is called a bronze powder, but when you see it compared to a bronzer that I do have that I'm going to show you, it really leans a little bit more like pulled back and kind of gray tone. So this is the bronzing powder. You can see how light it is. This is meant for light to medium skin, especially when you get into those kind of like more medium tones. This is really not going to look super bronzy on the skin. This is really going to look more like a shadow. And that's the biggest thing that I think people need to understand, is that contouring is adding a shadow where maybe your foundation and your base makeup has kind of taken those shadows away. Shadows typically in the art world are cool tone. They're usually done like in grays or blacks or really cool tone blues. You'll see that when someone's adding a shadow, they're adding a very cool toned color. So that is the same thing that you're going to do for your skin, is you're going to add something that really is kind of lacking that real true warmth of the browns and the bronzes and the gold, like warm, you know, red or orange tones back into the skin. In comparison, like this is Bahama Mama from the Balm. So this is, this would be a bronzer. You can see it just has more kind of red, more warmth to it than this guy. Another example of an okay product that's kind of similar to this is the Lorac Pro Contour Palette. It comes with a lot of shades, but this shade is supposed to be for light contour. You can see it's lighter in shade, and you can see it has that kind of seam, kind of cooler grayish tone. This is supposed to be meant for medium and then for deep skin. You can see how much more kind of warmth and redness. On most people, these would be more bronze-like colors, but this color is really good. If you're looking for contour and bronzing kit in one, this is a really good one. Sometimes this is a highlighting powder, and then these are two kind of more like setting powders. One is a beige undertone, and one of them's a yellow undertone. So this is actually a really good guy to have in your arsenal if you want to have an all-in-one palette to do all of those things. But this one is actually my favorite on my skin. A lot of what I'm going to be talking about as far as undertones is really going to apply to people with the light to medium, maybe tan skin. For deeper, darker skin tones, I am not an expert as far as contouring shades, true contouring shades, as opposed to bronze shades, because deeper, darker skin tones, the way cooler, more gray tone products react on their skin is much different than it would on someone with my coloring. But I would defer to someone who just has more expertise in that as far as for your skin tone, for your natural undertones, how cool or how kind of more gray, neutrally undertoned you would want to go, because the colors react very differently for deeper, darker skin tones. Powder is going to be the easiest to work with when you are starting out. You can use liquids if you find it in a liquid form. Creams are really good too, but powder is kind of the most forgiving, I feel like, and the easiest to work with. Most of the time, actually, for myself, I don't really do a straight contour unless I feel like a look kind of is asking for that. Most of the time I do what I like to call a bronze tour, which is kind of melding together bronzing and contouring all in one. Sometimes I will just do a double blush technique. More than happy to show those if that is of interest, but bronze touring is really my favorite for me, because it kind of does an all-in-one, and then you throw some blush over it and it's amazing. Typically for that, I will actually use a liquid product that I really love, but for just straight contouring, I feel like powder is your best bet. Brushes will make all the difference. I'm going to show you a couple of options. They are my favorite brushes for applying powder products and doing this technique. The first is the Unit brush, the number 110. It's got a fairly dense but fluffy rounded dome shaped top. I get this from Beautylish, super affordable. I will link this down below. For extreme newbies, I would recommend a brush like this. This is a duo fiber brush. It's a little bit more narrow and flat in one direction and wider, has a little bit of a curve. This is a Morphe brush. If you can find a non-Morphe alternative to something that looks like this, that is what I would recommend. Morphe is very suspect in the cruelty-free world, and I feel like ethically they're not my favorite brand around, but this is just one that I have that I really, really like. This will keep you from picking up too much product, really being able to build and blend as you go, rather than just have a huge streak of powder that you are then trying to blend out, because it is this like nice, fluffy, soft duo fiber. You're going to get a really beautiful kind of airbrushed blend. So these are honestly my two favorite style brushes to go with. If you're really curious, this is the Morphe M427. So you can kind of look it up and look at the specs on it and then compare it to maybe other brush companies. So I think that's it. I think you're all here to see how I personally apply my contour and the technique that I have come up with. All right, so let's get started with the tutorial. I tried to adjust my lighting as best I could. This side of my face unfortunately has a little bit more of a shadow just because of lighting, because the majority of my light source is over here. So I'm gonna have to work on getting some lighting to put over here instead of what I have. So this side of my face, because of that, may end up just kind of looking a little bit darker as far as when I apply the products of where the contour is going to be than this side, but it'll work. So all of the shadowing that you're seeing right now is really just because I don't have a brighter light source over here. So that's something that I'm going to have to fix. So I'm going to use my Unit 110 brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in and pick up quite a bit of product. This powder is pretty forgiving, so I can go in with a stronger dip than a traditional bronzer or other product that would be marketed as a contour. When I apply, we are going to start, or I am going to start using circular motions right away and using a lighter touch. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to start up here, closer to my hairline, and I'm going to work down. And for this, I'm really going to stop right about where, kind of just before where the color of my eye starts. That's where we're going to stop. So we're really going to keep the shadow just to right about here where the front of my cheek starts. So right on the side in this area. So it's actually going to be a much smaller area than you would see having the contour applied than a lot of other tutorials. So we're just going to use a light hand and do circular motions. I feel like using light pressure is really key to getting a nice application for your contour so that you don't have some of those issues of it looking muddy and overdone and like too much product. I am kind of feathering up a little bit into the sides and the temple to keep it from being like this like really like stark strong line. I prefer my contour to really just look like it's emphasizing the natural shadow on my face. So I'm going to go back in, tap off, and then we're going to work on this side. And again, I'm just going to start to feather this up a little bit. I really should have clipped all my hair out of the way. So I'm kind of just looking straight on, trying to see if I kind of have the same amount of product. But as you can see, this doesn't really warm and bronze up the face like a traditional bronzer. It's really just kind of adding that shadow. Again, this side is going to look darker because I don't have as much of a light source over on this side. That's why I like doing this much lighter touch and just really these nice soft circular motions, because it really allows you to kind of build up the color instead of having too much. Okay, so I think with that, that's pretty good. Looking at my mirror, I can see that the color is really pretty even, but I know like this whole side is just more shadowed. So we're gonna go in, and now we're gonna go into the upper hairline and just kind of come down. So we're really using that kind of like traditional generic 3 or E shape on the face. And I really like to kind of keep this up in the hairline. I don't take it too terribly far down my face. I just want a little bit of a shadow to kind of keep balance everywhere. I tend to kind of, however much product I put on, I tend to just kind of feather that down further while keeping the bulk of the shadow closer to my hairline, and then kind of just bringing it very gently down to kind of match where I feathered this powder up. So doing it this way, again, you're less likely to kind of have too much product in one area, have it become muddy. You know, it's taking a nice light hand and really kind of feathering and blending a lesser amount of product. You will have less issues. So now we are just going to go down and we're going to do the jaw and the neck, and I'll just again show you a very basic way to do this. Depending on your face shape, you can kind of adjust where you're putting it and how much accordingly. So I'm going to start back up here, kind of at this corner of the jaw, a nice light touch, and I'm just feathering this all the way down to my chin, and then to go under to kind of hide my little sagging neck that I got going on under there. And just very, very lightly, I'm keeping the bulk of the color back here because this is much easier to kind of blend, and this tends to be where a shadow hits more predominantly just from your jaw kind of going up into the neck and behind the ear. So you can really just kind of feather all of that down. And we'll work from the other side. I tend to go a little bit, I'm starting to get like that kind of sagging jowl right between like where the corner of your jawbone and the chin is. So sometimes I'll kind of go up higher if I feel like it looks a little bit more predominant, but again, that's kind of more like advanced technique. And this is really just basic technique of kind of where to start. If you don't know where to start, or you feel like you're overdoing it, or it doesn't make sense for your face. Now, I am going to show you how to go ahead and do the nose. This is going to be just a really basic way to apply some contour to the nose that generally would work for anyone's nose. I don't do a lot of contouring really at all to my nose. I'm fine with the shape of my nose and the way it looks on my face. But when you are doing straight contour on the face, I do think it kind of just helps like balance everything. So I'm going to go in lighter touch than I have with the rest of my face. And I'm just going to kind of grab and like pinch my brush down. And then I'm going to kind of start high up here, and I'm just going to do a straight line along the edge ridge of my nose down to the tip. And I'm using a very, very light hand to do this. If you feel like the bottom tip of your nose comes out too far, you can go underneath right here. And that will kind of shade that area. I don't feel like mine does, but I'm just doing it for the sake of the video. And then I just kind of take a look at it. Again, this whole side of my face is going to look much more shadowed than this one, but I'm just kind of taking a look straight on into my mirror down here to make sure that everything looks good. If you feel like your nose needs more, you can certainly kind of go back and add some more until you're happy with the results. But again, just be aware that in the beginning, I think that it's really best to start with a lighter hand to where you see a very subtle difference rather than putting a lot of product on and then being frustrated. Some people like to go just kind of right up here across where kind of the front kind of ball tip of the nose is, just to kind of give like that button nose. It's not necessary, it's all just kind of preference. But that's how that would look. And that essentially is contouring. It's really about the technique and just using the right product with the right undertone for your complexion. So everything is like really nicely like blended and smooth looking. There's no harsh lines anywhere, nowhere where you would really look and be like, wow, like you've got a lot of makeup on in that spot. So I'm just gonna take the highlighter, just doop doop, and I'm gonna go ahead and add some blush. I'm using the Balm Beach Balm blush. This is a nice like dusty pink, almost a little bit of a bronzy shade, and I'm just going to feather that on. These are great blushes if you don't really know what color blush you want to wear, and you just want something that's going to be like really nice and kind of just have like a natural look to it. I always feather my face color products on rather than kind of go like full hand, because then one, I feel like it has a much more natural and easier to blend look to it, and I can really kind of more easily control how much color I have on my face based off of the look that I'm doing. So I'm just gonna pop some stuff on my eyes and my lips, and then we will kind of do a So I'm gonna pop some color on my eyes and my lips, and then we will be back to kind of close out this whole tutorial. Okay, so I am back with makeup on, or full face of makeup now, more color to my face. I know I've had all of this on at the beginning of the video, but I think it kind of still helps to see it all put together from when the tutorial started until now. So I do hope that this helps you in some way and gives you a new technique to try, whether you are a newbie to contouring or just never felt like you could really get the hang of it. Let me know in the comments if you try it and if it works out for you and helps kind of like work out some of the kinks. I am more than willing to do a more advanced technique with my bronze tour technique that I use on myself most of the time, or doing a double blush to do contouring that way. So if you would be interested in seeing a more those kind of more like advanced or alternative techniques to contouring, let me know down below in the comments and I'd be happy to do that video also. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please give it a thumbs up and hope you all are doing well, and I will see you again soon.